Okay, let's go.
Kicking off the NFC East with none other than the Washington Commanders, a team that has had nothing short of a rough past couple years, predominantly because of injuries and poor ownership. The team is now under new ownership and is looking to take steps in the right direction. While the process of rebuilding this franchise will likely be a multi-session process, the team started off its off-season by investing in their offensive line in an effort to protect second-year quarterback and first-year starter Sam Howell. The team added Andrew Wiley, an experienced offensive tackle, formerly with the Chiefs, that is expected to start at the right tackle position. The team additionally added another tackle, Trent Scott, and Tyler Larson at center, both of which are expected to add needed depth to the team's offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, the team added Cody Barton as middle linebacker. Cody is expected to be a day one starter for them, replacing Cole Holcomb. Furthermore, the Commanders drafted with an emphasis on offensive line play and defense. The team selected Emmanuel Forbes with the 16th overall pick. Forbes should be a day one starter at the cornerback position as he set the FBS record for pick sixes, returning 6 interceptions for touchdowns. He should add some much-needed turnover-generating ability as the team only logged 4 interceptions last year. Furthermore, with the team's second-round pick, the team invested in Jartavius Martin, another cornerback that could earn a starting position this year. Martin is a versatile player that brings the ability to play throughout each of the secondary positions, however, specializing in the slot corner position. The team selected center Ricky Stromberg and tackle Braden Daniels respectively with their 3rd and 4th round picks. Stromberg and Daniels will likely add depth to their offensive line in their rookie seasons. In conclusion, I believe the Commanders will be improved over the last season with their new additions and under their new ownership. Chase Young is slated to return on the final year of his contract, and I personally expect a high level of play from him, and it should be contagious to the rest of the defense. Expect their defense to be a solid defensive unit this year. Regarding the offensive side of the ball, the added depth at offensive line should help buy Howell time in the pocket and allow Brian Robinson and Gibson ample rushing lanes. This team should be competitive in the NFC East this year. While I do not believe they are a likely pick to win the division, I thoroughly believe they will be much closer than last year. With their improved situation and additions, I am giving the team a B+ this offseason. Continuing with the Cowboys, a team that went into this offseason with predominantly offensive-related questions for almost every offensive position group, with the exception of the tight ends. At the quarterback position, the looming question of Dak Prescott's interceptions and how can the team help to minimize the 17 regular and postseason interceptions of last year. The offensive line depth was another question as injuries riddled this unit heavily last year, and following the season-ending play last year, putting a tough, close Ezekiel Elliott's time as a Cowboy, what would the running back position look like? On the defensive side of the ball, the team had one of the best units in the game. How could they improve it more? In free agency, the team made 2 large trade splashes, trading for Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks, while only surrendering 2 2023 5th-round picks and a 2024 6th-rounder. They added 2 quality players for relatively cheap. Stephon Gilmore will complement a dominant Trevon Diggs at cornerback and a high-quality secondary unit, and Cooks will be a veteran wide receiver 2 or 3, splitting the position with Michael Gallup. Furthermore, the team had an interesting draft, investing in defensive tackle Mozzie Smith at 26th overall. Smith is likely to be second on the depth chart behind Jonathan Hankins. However, he will likely see snaps throughout the year. In the 2nd round, the team drafted tight end Luke Schoonmaker. He will be tight end 2 or 3, competing with Peyton Hendershot most likely, adding depth following Schultz's departure. In the 3rd round, the team drafted linebacker Demarion Overshone, who is projected to back up Jabril Cox. And in the 4th round, the team selected defensive end Viliami Fehoko Jr., who brings added depth to one of the league's best defensive lines. Overall, I believe the Cowboys' free agency moves were very good, and they spent their draft predominantly adding depth and bolstering one of the league's premier defenses, while I believe they could have invested their draft picks into more offensive depth, particularly the offensive line and wide receiver position. They had a good offseason. As someone who generally finds humor in the Cowboys' struggles, I must admit that I believe they are in a great position to make a run in the playoffs this year. They will be playing a weakened Eagles team, a rebuilding Commanders, and a Giants team that is moving in the right direction, but not quite there yet. The division is the Cowboys to lose. If Doc and his receivers can limit the unnecessary turnovers, this team will go far, and with that, I give the team an A. Continuing with the Giants, a team that had a good defense and some bright spots on the offense. However, two of the biggest struggles for the team had been its receiving core and offensive line. The team added Jamison Crowder and Paris Campbell, along with resigning Darius Slayton. This unit should provide many improved looks for experienced quarterback Daniel Jones to throw to. In addition to the receiver moves, the team also traded a third-round pick for tight end Darren Waller, a quality pickup for the team as they added one of the better receiving tight ends in the league. I expect the offense to be much improved. On the defensive side, the team signed Bobby Okereke, a solid veteran linebacker addition that will be a day one starter. In the draft, the team kicked it off with its 24th overall pick, being spent on Deonte Banks, a cornerback with a high ceiling, and while he most likely will not be a day one starter, has the potential to grow into a starting role in the years to come. In the second round, the team drafted center John Michael Schmitz. He is a high-quality center that they arguably got as a steal late in the second round and will be a day one starter protecting their newly paid quarterback. In the third round, the team arguably got another steal with Jalen Hyatt. He will be a great vertical receiver and should provide for some home run potential. In conclusion, the Giants addressed their needs relatively well. Arguably going from a receiver shortage to a surplus, the offensive line was still a little neglected in my opinion. However, it has improved. I expect the defense to be similar in performance to the unit last year. This team's offense has a very high ceiling now, and how their year goes will largely be dictated by how close they can get to it. Their division has solid defenses across the board, and this offense will be tested throughout the year. However, for the Giants, I give the team an A. Coming off a rough Super Bowl appearance last year and failing to bring home the championship, this team was heavily picked apart by the NFL with multiple staff members and players relocating during the offseason. This team is very different from the 2022 team. Starting off with their biggest free agency signing, safety Terrell Edmunds, following C.J. Gardner-Johnson's departure. While the starting spot is not solidified yet, he has a high probability of being the starter kicking off the season. Additionally, the team signed linebacker Nicholas Morrow, following T.J. Edwards and Kaiser White's departures. While Nakobe Dean will fill one of the two vacancies, Morrow should fill the remaining. The team also resigned Fletcher Cox, following Hargrave's departure. The team additionally traded a fourth-round pick for running back Dondre Swift and signed Rashad Penny. Both could provide a dynamic and versatile backfield when combined. In the draft, the team started it off with a bang, drafting Jalen Carter at 10th overall, after falling due to some off-season issues. He was one of the best players in the draft, and getting him in the 10th spot is a steal. With the team's second first-round pick, the team drafted linebacker Nolan Smith at 30th overall, arguably another steal. Smith should compete for a starting spot day one. The Eagles then traded down with the Texans in the third round, dropping 3 spots and acquiring an additional 6th-round pick. However, with their third-round pick, the Eagles drafted guard Tyler Steen, who will add depth to a solid offensive line unit. In conclusion, the team filled the holes following the wave of post-Super Bowl departures. They added quality players and arguably improved in some spots. The Eagles' defense will be another one of the league's premier units, and the offense should maintain a similar form with minor improvements here and there. Overall, I give the Eagles a B+. The team did improve some in various position groups. However, the team was focused on filling several holes following the Super Bowl personnel losses, and I believe they did a great job doing so.